Want to see the Flymo Sprintmaster with grass collection? Want to see it again? Why slow-mo when you can Flymo?
Lynx, the all-over deodorant body spray for men. Lynx is musk, amber, spice, and now new oriental. Lynx, because first impressions last.
Make your mind up with style and class.
Stay single-minded right to the last.
Gonna be there when they pour it out. Yeah. Taste is what it's all about. Tannent's Pilsner, fast and cool. Tannent's Pilsner, the golden rule. Tannent's Pilsner, the taste to choose.
Introducing Homepride Country Fare, an inspired new range of casserole mixes with no artificial you-know-what. Take delicious Northumberland rich beef casserole with wholesome ingredients including split peas, golden barley, mustard seed, herbs and spices, all skillfully blended to help make new and more interesting meals.
Young Fred, those sauces aren't new. They're just like the traditional ones I use.
Yes, Granny, we got the ideas from your old recipe book.
Oh, blooming sauce.
Homepride Country Fare.
Fashion, it's always changing. And to hold every style, there's Freestyle Mousse. Freestyle Mousse for lasting shape, movement, with a natural touch. Freestyle Mousse, whatever your style. Volume, body, lasting hold, without stickiness. Freestyle by L'Oreal.
Oh no, the dreaded roller. Wait a minute, Dulux solid emulsion. Funny looking paint. My mistake, it's cream cheese. Goes on nice and even though, and not that splattery judging by his head. He can't be finishing already. Very good. Better check the finish. Good stuff, this cream cheese.
Dulux solid emulsion, the paints rollers have been waiting for.
I wonder if I can interest you in life assurance. Abbey Life offer very reasonable terms if you'd just like to sign here. Thank you.
For unit trusts, health schemes, pensions and life assurance. Bet your life you'll thank Abbey Life.
So, the Zeebrugge fire disaster inquiry comes to the end of its third day. Gradually, we're getting a picture of what happened on that terrible day a few weeks ago. Perhaps you, along with many other people, have decided who was to blame for that tragedy. Perhaps you want to blame individuals, or you want to blame the company. But you feel that somebody somewhere has to carry the can. Somebody must be to blame. Now, of course, it's important to find out what things went wrong, if only to make sure that kind of thing doesn't happen again. But sometimes this need of ours to apportion blame is not simply to ensure the thing doesn't happen again. Sometimes it's a matter, well, it's a matter of just being able to apportion blame. It's almost as though it makes us feel better to find someone to blame when things go wrong. Now, that doesn't seem to make sense, does it? I mean, we were nowhere near Zeebrugge when that disaster happened. How on earth could we have been involved? This may sound rather strange, but in some way we are all partially to blame for that accident and many other accidents as well. We are the ones who want to get somewhere in a hurry. We are the ones who want to get across the channel quickly. We are the ones who want to be able to travel from the southwest up to London in next to no time. We are the ones who want the profits and more profits. We are the ones who want to be paid for the job. But who will be any the wiser if we skimp on a few materials? And every so often, because of the demands that we make, because of the lifestyle that we have created, because of the expectations we have, because of the pressures we impose, somebody gets hurt. It's almost bound to happen. But then, of course, somebody else has to be blamed. The demands we make on people today are incredible. The pressures we impose on others are amazing. We've created and are still creating a society that means pressure, pressure, pressure. We know that London is a certain distance from our home, and that by travelling at maximum speed on the motorway, we can get there, well, with a few minutes to spare. And so we leave at the last moment. We'll be all right. And then we hit heavy fog. We can't slow down, we haven't got time. And before we know where we are, we're in an accident. But of course, it wasn't our fault. The police ought to have warned us with their warning lights, their fog lights and so on. Somebody else has to blame. We're told by our boss that he expects more of us, and so we in turn put more pressure on those who work under us. And then we find it hard to understand why somebody breaks under the strain. Our company wants bigger and even better profits. And so we find ourselves taking shortcuts, doing things in a hurry, forgetting safety. And before we know where we are, the unbelievable thing has happened. Like a huge ferry going over on its side and 200 people dying. And somehow we're all caught up in this pressure. I remember a few years ago, I was with a party of young people and adults in Scotland. And we were taken by boat from the mainland to a very small island. And when the boatman left us on that island, he told us he'd come back for us when we were ready. All we had to do was ring a bell that he left there for us. And when that was done, he would come back. Well, we stayed on the island for some time. And when we were ready, we rang that bell. We expected him to come straight back, but he didn't. And as the moments went by, I could see people getting irritable and uptight, because we were used to city life. We were used to things being done immediately, in a rush. And we waited nearly half an hour for this man. And in the end, he sauntered out of his home and came across so slowly to that island to take us back. I reckon that man had something that we didn't have. For him, time wasn't important as it was to us. Neither were profits. And yet he was so content. I believe that this is God's world. We are only stewards in this world. We do tend to make rather a mess of the job sometimes, don't we? A lot depends on what aims we have in life, I suppose. If all we want is money and more money and bigger and better things, then we're going to get caught up in a society that lives at an incredible speed, and which then has to apportion blame when the system breaks down. Somehow I feel that God wants us to have a greater quality to life, and that perhaps if we could experience that quality of life, we wouldn't be so quick to look for someone to blame when things go wrong. And God not only wants us to have that greater quality of life, he offers that quality of life. It's ours to accept or reject. Good night.
Well, our warm thanks to Reverend Brian Townsend. Our Postscript programme tomorrow night will be, let me take a look, at the earlier time, 12:35, or don't mean the earlier time, it's exactly the same time, 12:35 tomorrow night, with Jeremy Dowling, who's talking to David George, area organiser for the Save the Children Fund. That's tomorrow night's Postscript programme. Here on TSW tomorrow night, I'd like to remind you that at 6:35 we've got That's My Dog, and another programme to point out at 9 o'clock, LA Law with Harry Hamlin. I quite enjoy that programme. First thing in the morning, of course, here I am quickly reminding you of all the things going on tomorrow. TVAM at 6:15 a.m. with Good Morning Britain, and the guest in the studio will be Sarah Brightman, who is star of Phantom of the Opera, and also Kirk Douglas will be in the studio tomorrow morning. So that's something to look forward to if you're up that early. Well, now let's take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. Well, it'll be mostly cloudy with showers. Maximum temperatures around 17 degrees Celsius, that's 63 Fahrenheit. Winds moderate south-southwesterly. And now the shipping forecast for the next 24 hours. Portland, Plymouth, southwesterly 4 or 5, squally thundery showers, moderate with fog patches. Lundy, southerly 3 or 4, occasionally 5 at first, squally thundery showers, moderate with fog patches. And now a last look at the clock. Oh, don't forget you can still tune in to Devon Air and Plymouth Sound right through till 6 a.m. with Night Flight. That's the radio stations, of course. Well, the time is now 26 minutes to 1. Do hope you have enjoyed being with us this evening, that mad, mad film, and that you'll join us again tomorrow night. Right now, this is Jennifer Gavin on behalf of all my colleagues here at TSW and the transmitters, wishing you a very peaceful and good night. Please don't forget to switch off your television sets. Once again, good night.